Hello, welcome to Sabin Media Group, and we are excited here at Sustainable Growth Podcast to have Chip Baker. Unfortunately, we couldn't grab him on the camera today, but he is on, he is listening in, and he is part of the conversation. If you have not been following him, you've been under a rock because he's everywhere. He's all over the place. He's have all type of workshops, training, webinars, things that he's doing. He's doing multiple interviews about his books, his series, The Impact of Influence. And currently, he is in volume number 7. We're not sure how many he's going to have, but he's currently in volume number 7. And we have some of the co-authors on today to talk about that book and why they chose to be a part of it. So, Chip, I know we have you on speaker, but thank you so much for jumping on and bringing some of your co-authors with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. I truly appreciate the energy, the effort. Thank you so much for all that you do. I'm
Absolutely.
grateful to be on, and I'm excited to highlight these amazing authors.
Thank you so much. Well, tell us one, why did you decide to do volume 7? And what is volume 7 about? What can your readers expect from volume 7 separate from the other 6?
Well, I'm gonna start with the same first, if you don't mind,
Sure.
because the same is, they're powerful influencers that are doing great things, great people with great hearts that give service, and so that's where it all starts. That's where it all begins. But this volume 7 is the impact of influence. Volume 7, overcoming adversity to make an influence, and so that's what we're talking about in this book. And so we're just talking about some adversities or adversity that we've had to grow through in our life. Check that, grow through in our life to overcome, and then how we're using what we learn from those adversities, and then how we're using those adversities to make a positive difference in our world.
Okay. So with that, and like you said, with growth and overcoming adversity, how do you go about selecting your co-authors to be a part of each one of the volumes?
I think for me, it's just organically. I've been super blessed to the big man has blessed me to cross paths with some amazing people, and all of the people that are in the books. First off, I look up to them. I follow them. I always strive to learn stuff from them, and we can go and do things individually, but we go further when we do things together, right?
Mhm.
And so that was just the premise of it. Just kind of like I said earlier, they're all amazing people that give service, and that's one of the things from the interview. I hope that the audience, as they give their social medias, that they take the time to go and follow them and check them out, because I promise you, you will not be disappointed, and you will be glad that you took the time to do that, because they're just amazing people.
So let's start with the introduction of some of the co-authors that you have here. We're going to start with you, Derek Pearson. Can you give us a brief introduction and why you said okay when Chip called you to say be a part of this volume?
First of all, thank you, Melissa, for hosting this and allowing us to get together in this space, this way, on mission, on purpose. Love in the room. I love that. So, my grandmother used to say, "Baby, put something on the menu, and when you feed people something good, they show up." Well, you know that when Chip Baker opens the door, the food is good. You're gonna get fed, and you're gonna feel better for it. I am a radio station owner in Lincoln, Nebraska. I cover sports, but I have a lifetime of being an educator, mentor, coach, and the son of a queen. My mother's name was Queen Elizabeth, so I have to live according to that. I celebrate each day, and any day that I get to spend with Brother Baker is always a better day. I'm more covered in love when I'm spend time with him. So when he calls, I answer.
Wow. Darius, same question for you.
Let me get off of mute. But first, I just want to say thank you guys for blessing this opportunity. Sis, you are amazing as well.
Well,
Thank
thank
you for
you.
sharing your platform with us, giving us this opportunity to display the great works that God has placed within us. And like Brother DP said, right? I think we all can say that about Brother Chip. We call him chipped in for a reason. I forget what chapter, what series, what volume of the impact of influence that was that he received that name. But chipped in, Chip Baker, that's my brother, right? We both scream out the three words, go get it, right? So we often say that we are the go get it twins. But Chip has an organically golden heart, right? And like Brother DP expressed, whenever you're in the room with Brother Chip, he fills the room with unconditional agape love, right? And I say that about him, not just because he just jumped on the camera just now either. You know,
Let's go,
you know what I'm saying?
man.
Not just because
Let's
he just jumped on
go.
the camera, but because who you see in the spotlight with Chip Baker is who you get behind the scenes, behind the curtains, under construction, not just when the roadway is paved and everyone can navigate easily, but he's there helping you pave the pavement before it even, is done. And so, I love the person that he is as a kingdom man, husband, father, brother, friend, person. And I love his obedience that he displayed for our Heavenly Father. So I've learned a great deal from him. And because of being connected to him, I've been blessed the opportunity to have so many other of my brothers and sisters who I wasn't able to live life with up close and personal. Now I'm able to live 3D IMAX with them now because of being connected to my brother Chip Baker, who I love very much, man. So nothing but love for you, brother.
Wow.
Right,
Thank you
right.
so much. Thank you. I mean, the excitement just with you talking about being a part of it, being connected with Chip, and just being on this project. I can only imagine what the excitement was when he, made that initial call to say, hey, this is what I need you for. So just knowing that and sharing that, and I can relate to that as well. I met Chip from someone that I actually have never met in person myself. And this guy's in Arizona and told me about it. Said, hey, he's in Spring. You in Spring. Y'all probably know each other. I'm like, nah, Spring's pretty big here. I said, we probably never crossed each other paths, and maybe we did. And that's kind of not how that works in Houston. So, and from there, we eventually met and just been connected ever since. And, just the spirit that he puts out, I can truly say I can relate to that as well. So, moving on and talking more about the book.
Miss
As
Miss Melissa, before you go on, you mind if I say one other thing? I
absolutely,
just I just want to say, with you saying those kind words, I truly appreciate that.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
I'll go on and say, like everything that we've done since we started the books, events, you show up, right? And so I just want to make sure that I say on your platform that I'm truly grateful for that. You don't have to do that, but you choose to, and I'm truly grateful. And so like even with this book deal, man, we dropping a book. Hey, let's get y'all on my show and highlight it. Man, like you don't have to do that, right? But I'm truly grateful for that. Truly grateful for your support and grateful for you showing up. So I want to make sure I didn't want to cut off, but I want to make sure I say that to you because like it's not a lot of people that's out there that'll do that, and I know that. So we're grateful.
Oh, you are absolutely welcome. I mean, that's we have to show up,
Yeah.
support, and whatever we can do, even if it's
Hmm.
just standing in a room, is okay. Let me be there and stand in the room. So,
Yep.
that's what we all should be doing. But no, you are very welcome, and just the connection in itself is growth. So, thank you so much for
Hmm.
saying that. Um, with the chapters, and as people start writing these, and we'll just kind of go around the room, as you were writing your chapter, did you have any aha moments or reflection back to something as you was going through that? And if so, did you learn any extra lessons, or was it therapy for you? Darius.
Absolutely, and thank you again, sis. Yeah, that's a very powerful question because as you're asking it, I can feel the vibration through my body. Right, it is therapeutic. It is. It's a reflection of who you were. It's identification of who you've become,
Mhm,
and it's also an indication of who you are still becoming. Right. So when you're writing from a place of where you've been, you get an opportunity to understand why you were there. Right. And so for me, as I'm writing, like my chapter in this volume is themed entitled Press. Just that simple.
mm,
Press. That's a biblical term. God,
mm,
God tells us to press forward. Right. And so you think, why is he telling me to press forward? And why often do we pray? We're looking for the prayers to be answered right beside us. God will never put it on the side of us. He'll never put it that close to us. We don't have to turn back because he's not going to put it there either. Right? He's going to put it way out in front of us. Why? Because that's when that word press come to play. We're going to have to press forward motion to receive those answered prayers. And we go through these times of
mhm,
difficulty and adversity and challenges. We're faced with those Goliaths,
mhm,
and we're already preparing for that preparation, even at whatever the level it is that we're playing on. What I mean by that is, whatever the greatest challenges that we're going through at that moment, and we write about that, we're not just going through it for self. And
mhm,
we'll learn that when something else is stacked upon that challenge that we're already going through. That's the part in the promise for us to see when God says, I'll never put any more on you than you can bear. Well, how do we know that to be true if we, you know, are only carrying what it is that we're carrying and we think that we can't carry anymore? God is
yeah.
going to put a little bit more on that to show us that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So
Mhm,
as we're going through that chapter of our life, and like Brother Chip and I, like, again, growing through
mhm,
that which we go through, we'll realize that, wow, we can do all things through Christ, not through Darius, but through Christ who strengthens us. So we're going to have to let go of what we're holding on to then hold on to God so he can get the glory for what it is that he's preparing us to do at that moment. And
mhm,
so as you're writing it, you're realizing that, hey, I'm not the same person mentally. I'm not the same person physically. I'm able to talk about my story in a way that I've never navigated before. I'm able to help someone else stretch through because of my problems and me facing the Goliaths and being more than a conqueror, David, right? My problems are now the bridges, the ladders, and the stepping stones for others to walk across and know that they too can grow through what they go through. They too can challenge and champion through the challenges that they go through. And as you're writing this stuff, right? Chip always tell me, hey man, the story is inside of you. It's inside of you, man. You have to go and look nowhere else. It's right there. All you have to do is pull that thing out and tell it. And when you're telling it, you're noticing that you're getting away from who you once were to now allow your gift to make room for you because it is your gift. And the pain that we're going through is nothing more than an indicator. And once we realize that pain is an indicator, identifying who we are, where we are, and who it is that we are to become, we'll realize that we can repurpose that pain and get exactly where it is that God has already predestined us to be.
well, amen. Tip, you got your
Boom.
handkerchief? You got your handkerchief,
hey,
Tip?
hey, I was looking.
Let me
I was
look.
looking in my pocket. I'm about to hit him with the pocket
Oh man, come on now.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna move on to Derek and share your experience with your chapter.
Well, again, my story is real simple in that I reached a point where friction forced me to reevaluate how I approached living.
Mm.
There was a point where I had to make a decision on how I was going to go forward. Things happened in my life that required a change of perspective and vision. And I see things differently since that day. Friction has to happen for growth to happen. So I understood that and I learned it. There was a time where I was in ICU. I had surgeries, decades of coaching, and I had surgery that was botched. And in spinal fusion surgery, things go on. When you hear people pass from surgery, natural causes, air quotes, natural causes, that's usually a blood clot. I had 27.
Oh my.
And those 27 three got into my lungs, 4 into my heart. And they brought along a bully called a saddle embolism, which wrapped itself around my bronchial stem to choke me out. It's called a widowmaker. And on that day, before that day, I had said I'd lived a complete life. If God took me today, I'd be fine. I've lived a full life. Except on that day, with a change of friction, I changed and I said, can I have one more day? Just give me one more day. And at 55, being afraid to go to sleep, because that's when it gets you in your sleep. So every day since then, when I woke, I'd open an eye and say, thank you. I say, thank you. I made it. Well done. Good. Now I have to love myself to get up.
Mhm.
I've got to get active again. I've got to get healthy again. I've got to do better again. And if you give me that day and I say thank you, then I have to be worthy of it through my action. And I have to love myself enough to love the people around me, the people in my life. I have to go and get healthy so I can take care of them, right? I have to be there for them. And then in learning to walk again and do basic bodily functions again. At the end of the day, if I ever made it, I would sit at the end of the bed, put my feet on the ground and say, well done. Well done. And those days start to matter. And I needed to put emphasis on that day. I was sitting in a think tank and they were talking about our carbon footprint, our time on this earth. And I said, that's really good, but it's not person enough. There's not enough humanity in that statement. Carbon footprint. If we did right, if we did this life right, if we're living right, it should be a love print. It should be a love print, not a carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And the love print is simple in it that we need to be active in love all day, every day for the next thing, person, situation, circumstance that we face. We need to be active in it because love without action makes you good but doesn't accomplish much. Action without love keeps you busy but doesn't accomplish anything good. And I say that every great moment in your humane history, in our humane history, every great moment only occurs when love and action meet. And when they get busy together on a consistent basis, beautiful things happen. So I learned that each day I need to count each day and work from those three things with this thing that is loving everything out loud by identifying that day. So today for me is 22,522. It's the only 22,522 I'm going to get. And so I have to treat it the same way I did sitting in ICU, which is saying, thank you for giving me one more day. I will love in it, and then I will complete it in well done. And all the things that are there, my responsibility every day is the next person, situation, circumstance I engage.
Mm-hmm.
Leave them more covered in love than I found them. And that's a pretty simple thing to do. Putting down all of the labels and all of the unnecessaries and simply recognizing, being present and loving the person in front of me, the situation in front of me, as they are perfectly today. Whatever else happens, we can reload, reassess, regroup, reboot, rebrand tomorrow if we get it. But today we're going to love. And then everything else is all right.
Now we're gonna have a show today without me having to pull out no tissue. I'm trying my best over here. but y'all pushing me. Y'all pushing me over here. So, Chip, when you thought of the title, well, not the title, but the talking points for each one of your co-authors, what brought you to overcoming adversity?
I think just here recently, there's been a few things that have happened uh, that have been adversities, and so several of the authors, and they shared, guys that's on shared some of those things. Several of the authors in the series have had adversity. Um, Several of us have had personal things in our life that has been some adversity for us. I'm in education. Lots of people in education are having some adversities, and so being the natural teacher, well, if I see a need, we need to fix the need, right? We need to take care of the need, and so for me, that's where the overcoming the adversity came from. So I want whoever you are that reads this book, that picks up the book, that hears these interviews, to know that you have value and you can overcome any adversity that comes your way. Right? Hey, you see, I got the finger on you, right? That's serious, right? I almost went mama on you and said, "Boy," she said, "Boy, hey, you have value and you can overcome any adversity," right? With the side face and everything. That's serious, right? And so that's where the overcoming adversity comes from. And I just want people to know that man, it's just a challenge. It's not a tough life, it's just a tough moment. And tough people do tough things.
Wow.
Come on.
Uh, yeah, it's like wow.
Yeah.
Um, how I don't say difficult, but just hearing, from two of your co-authors, I know there's others, hearing their story, I can only imagine that going through this book and reading this book, how so many people are going to get choked up through these processes. Is it going to,
Yeah.
how much longer is it going to take you to get through the book? Because it's like, I gotta stop. I can't take no more today.
Yeah.
Let me stop right here and then pick up and
Yeah.
just keep going. So with this, how what would you say to the reader to say when you pick this up, expect what?
Oh, hey, some go get itness. Is that a word? That ain't even a word, right? Hey, you gonna have some go get itness in there. And what I mean by that is, just like I said, every author in there has had to overcome some type of adversity, right? And so it's gonna be inspiring. Uh, it's gonna be transformational. But what I would suggest is take your time going through it, highlight, take notes, and the biggest piece is apply the lessons that you learn, right? So, like, one of my pastors that I have currently, he always says, life change happens in the application, right? So we can gain all the knowledge, we can read, we can watch YouTube, we can talk to mom and them, we can do all of that stuff. We can, get around, you know, highly smart, highly successful people and bring in knowledge all day long. But if
Mhm.
we don't take the knowledge that we've learned and actually use that and apply it, then you've wasted your time. And so your time is valuable. And my hope is that you can just take your time going through it, learn the lessons, because it's not, and this is the beauty of the Impact of Influence book series too. Like typically when you purchase a book, it's just one author,
Mhm.
right? So in this, it's multiple powerful, influential, good people giving you the game of how to overcome. And so, I mean, I'm gonna just tell you, I mean, it'll feel like when you feel it, it's gonna feel hot,
Mm.
right? When you pick it up, it's gonna be heavy,
Mm.
right? Because it's so good. And I say that not because of what Chip has done in the book. I say that because, man, I know every one of these authors in there and I've said it a few times, amazing. And I am inspired by every one of them, and I learn from every one of them too. And so that's what they'll get from it.
With the previous series, I've seen you on social media
Mhm.
and you share all this information where you're going to different schools, audiences, and just talking about and taking principles from the book, bringing along
Yeah.
some of those co-authors with you to talk
Mhm.
about certain things. How or if would you do this series any differently than you have in the past? And if so, what would that be? And if not,
Mm.
what would be the same thing you would take?
Man, that is really good and loaded. Uh, I think I don't know that I'd change anything because the blueprint works. It's all coming from the heart.
Mhm.
But then I also know that there's always room for growth too, right? And I'm gonna give you this one. This is one of my quotes from my chapter in the book. Next level stuff requires next level stuff,
Mm,
right? And
mm,
so with each one, I strive to find ways that we can be better, that we can push ourselves. And I'll tell you one thing, because DP is on here, we got to get to Nebraska and do a book signing, and we on the way. We talking about that. We haven't done one yet in Nebraska, but we on the way. We got to get there and be with DP in person. So that's in the works. So there's some things. The blueprint is set. Just like the Impact of Influence series with the books, they all look the same. It's the same, the makeup of the book, the covers, all of that's the same. There's a blueprint, but each time, we're striving to do next level stuff, for sure. Like I don't want to be the same Chip Baker today that I would. No, can't be the same Chip Baker that today that I was yesterday. So that's the same with everything we do. Just continuing to strive ways to grow, continuing to strive to find ways to make an impact and influence people. And there's a number of things that we've done, like you said, speaking, book signings, book tours, donating books to groups. There's a lot of different things that we've done and we are doing collectively and individually, right? Like, I mean, it's just good stuff, and I'm grateful that every one of the authors have said yes because they didn't have to choose to do that too. Come on, DP.
Yeah, because here's how we know that it works and how we know it's that we're favored and that the blessing is real. When Chip and I met, I was just coming out of that surgery that we talked about. He came to my house. He was introduced by a friend. Came to my house. We did the Success Chronicles, and I still had like a half body brace on. Like I couldn't walk on my own, hold my spine. If I don't get through the previous 9 months to that point, being in the circle that I'm in, being loved by the people, the great people that I've met since then.
mhm.
Here, let me tell you what's happened since I met Brother Baker. And Brother Baker
Come
will
on.
vouch for each and every word of this. I found out what my earth name was, who my father really was. I found my family. I found out I had brothers and sisters that I didn't know about. I bought a radio station. I have 2 TED Talks, best-selling author, and I'm living in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm one of 93 Black people in America who own a radio station. And if I tell you, when I say leave more covered in love than you were found, impact of influence is just a conduit of love and inspiration. And otherwise, I say this thing, and Chip will get this because he's heard me say it and he understands what I mean by it. That great people make great authors, and great authors make great people. Great people make great stories make great people. Great families make great people. Great people make great families. Listen, when we get on this and we get fed, look, if I know that love is welcome here, love gonna show up and I'm coming to get it. And that's what people chase. See, people are in search of love. People are in search of good, of better. And when you love openly, often, and on purpose, you cannot do anything except go forward and up, because that's where love is all the time.
You know, I was getting ready to ask you what impact were you going to take and pass on? So you kind of jumped ahead of me there, but do you want to extend on it, or you kind of hit it right
Yeah,
on?
because here's the thing. At this radio station, sports has been the vehicle that's taken me from being a poor kid in a tough neighborhood to owning my own radio station, being a best-selling author, et cetera, all of those things based on a community. I've told 7 stories with Brother Baker about people whose shoulders I stand on today.
Mhm.
People who loved me when they didn't have to, because we may or may not have shared a name. We may or may not have shared blood, but we shared love,
Mhm.
and they didn't have to, but they did. So my job as a coach, as a boss, as a partner in life is to leave it more covered in love than I found it. So the Woodlands, Texas, went down there and changed the way they play ball, right? They going to state titles, right? Leaving, and they know better now. Virginia, they won state titles. They know better. Great people were built. Great people make great teams. Great teams make great people. And people forget that. So now I get to raise generations of young people who, just like I speak in the voice of all the great mentors and coaches and people who love me in my neighborhood and at these schools, they will now speak to their kids and to their community and to their families from the love we give them. The love we put in these books will plant seeds and grow fruit that we're never going to get to taste. But we know we planted the seeds, and we know that the fruit will be good. We know.
Wow. Same question for you, Darius.
So it's not hard to follow the lead when the lead is busting the doors off the hinges for you. What becomes challenging is that now it's your job to not only remove the door off the hinges, but bring down the whole wall for those who are coming behind you. And so, with that being said, and that being an understanding, then that's our responsibility. And God has already put that inside of us. He said our gift shall make room for us, but for us to make room for others. You see, every dimension starts at 0. So many of us want to get to the next level and the next level. But the next level presents us with a blank canvas. We have the acres, but we have to soil the soil, and we have to plant the seed. We have to just nurture this thing to harvest that's ineffable. And so for us to do that, we have to know that we hold something that's going to unlock and free others indeed. If we don't serve our gift, so many of us will be in captivity because of something that's inside of us that we're not bringing out on the outside. We have to bring it outwardly. It's our duty. And there's a season for everything that we do. No one knows how many tomorrows remains for any of us. And I say it with all due respect, but I say it with a sense of urgency. Place the 911 on every area of our lives and move with a sense of urgency, because we only have so many heartbeats to love and to get it done and to produce and to become and to be and to impress upon and to have an impact of influence on the masses that God has called us to have that impact upon. So if we're wasting the time that he's allotting us, then the breaths that he's filling our lungs with, we're not resuscitating anyone, and not even self. And we're the ones who breathing. We're the ones who's breathing. So who's waiting on you to give them mouth-to-mouth resuscitation? Who's waiting on you to free them from captivity because of the gift that is housed inside of you? Who's waiting on you to bring down the wall? They're looking at you silently. Some of them may be jumping up and down, telling you to your face how much you mean, how much you encourage. But it doesn't matter, and I say it with all due respect, whether they up close and personal telling you, or they're behind the scenes jumping up and down because of you. Serve the gift wherever you are with whatever it is that you have. Okay? Whoever it is that you may be at this time, and continue, like the chapter is titled, to press forward motion. That's how we grow. That's how we get there. And that's how we finish off what it is that God has given us the time to do so. So when we're doing it, an impact of influence, don't just be an author, but be an example of tangibility and that it is possible. Because when we say we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, each chapter, each word, each punctuation mark, each picture, I don't care whatever the book houses, it's going to bless you to become better than your best in every area of your life. And not just for your life, but for all of the lives that you are connected to, whether you know it or not. So love with a heart filled with everything that God has placed inside. Continue to keep him first place, and with the knowing that all else will fall into place. And that's the impact of influence, if I ever known one.
Well,
Myself.
you said something in the beginning, and I'm gonna wait for this book to come out. Take the hinges off. So I'm just gonna throw that out there and let me know when you finish that and put that out there on the shelf. I'm just gonna throw that out there to you.
I got you.
Take the hinges off.
Take the hinges off. Take them off.
So, actually, we have Royce that has jumped back on. So, really quick, we was getting ready to, kind of close out. But since you jumped back on, I want to give you an opportunity to really quickly introduce yourself and tell us why you decide to be a part of Impact of Influence.
Sure. I'm Royce Select. I'm the athletic director and head football coach at Rice ISD. It's a job that I've been at now for 5 weeks. It's been a long time coming. I would tell you that, and to piggyback, to piggyback just a little bit on what he just said. This opportunity for me, it's 100% God's doing. I can't even begin to express on the daily how often that I am reminded that He has me in the right place. I shared this in the book, and I'll share it with you guys. But Royce is a really tough name to hear. And especially my last name starts with an S, so there you go. I've been, people like, what'd you say? And so when I was in college, and this was when I was in college, not when Chip was in college, because that was in the early 90s.
He was one of my coaches.
You got to go back to the 80s. You got back to the 80s for me. But I had some friends that started calling me Big R, and because it was easier to understand, it was easier to hear, when you were in loud crowds and all that kind of stuff. And I dressed like this twofold. One, I'm at a softball game in Eustis out here in the sticks, watching our girls play tonight. But I wore this ball cap, and I know you can see the logo on the front of the ball cap.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't tell you that you're in the right place, I don't know what else will. And so I know that this is the place that He wants me. I know that I could have stayed at a million different places of where I was, but I know this, that he has put on me the passion to make a difference, not just for student athletes, but for coaches, but for a community, and all of those things. And I don't question that. I'm getting out of the way. and just paying attention to his calling. And so it's a powerful, position for me. And I can't even begin to tell you, what a blessing it's been for me and my family. And, you get so many opportunities at jobs like this, and Chip will tell you that, Derek tell you the same thing. That there's been a lot of opportunities for me in those circles, and the adversity to overcome some of those and to still continue to press on. And it's an opportunity for me to make a difference at a place that might not have an opportunity. Our community is a community that's 80% poverty level and below. So it's a community that I identify with. When I was a kid, everybody was riding mongooses and redline bikes. I had a Huffy monoshock because I had a dad that was in the U.S. Navy and a mom that walked to a grocery store. So I identify with that population, and so I get it. And so, an opportunity to get back to a community like that, come on. I mean, that's a no-brainer, for me, so, that's the thing that I think has been the biggest blessing, and overcoming, maybe some obstacles along the way and questioning and all that. But then you look and you see a logo that's a school logo like that. Come on. I mean, that's crazy.
So to kind of, I won't say sum it up, but kind of just put it all together, because it's so much stuff that we could get out of this. And with just a few of your co-authors on here, it's like a lot that we could still like unpack and really talk about. But to kind of, put it all together, Chip, what would you say, about Impact of Influence Volume 7, the journey for this book, and the unexpected what you're going to receive from sharing this? What would you have to say about that?
I just think I'll share a quote. This is the quote, first quote in my chapter that I wrote. And the quote is, "Our maximum growth is on the other side of our adversity." Grow through the adversity to get to that maximum growth. And so, by taking the chance to purchase the book and read the amazing chapters, you're going to grow. Like, you're going to grow through that adversity. You're going to learn some tools to put in your toolkit that's going to allow you to get through any challenge, grow through any challenge that you will face in your life. And that's the beauty of it. And then the bigger picture, this is good right here. The bigger picture is that you can take those things and now you can use those things to be a blessing to others. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. That's where it gets good right there.
Wow. So let's start with you, Darius. Let people know, where they could find you, how they could follow you, and with the journey of the Impact of Influence Volume 7.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, let me just say thank you again, sis, for sharing your platform with us. It's been truly a blessing and indeed an honor. You are truly a gift. All right. And I just thank our Heavenly Father for blessing us with a sister like you. I thank my brother Chip, man, Chip Baker. He's my guy, my go-get-it twin. I have nothing but love and respect for him. Man, listen, my heart goes out to you, brother DP, brother Royce, Big R. You know what I'm saying? The Impact of Influence family, all of our brothers and sisters who aren't on the call tonight, we have nothing but love for each and every one of you, and also the viewing audience. My name is Darius Bradley Sr. You can find me on Instagram. I'm known as Divine Encourager. So that'll be at Divine_Encourager_. And I thank you guys. My 3 words are go get it. I'm also I'm also on Facebook. There's 2 accounts. I just started a new one, so it should be Darius Bradley Sr. divine encourager. Look forward to meeting you guys there and continue to add value with each and every one of you guys. God, go get it. And God bless.
Derek.
You can find me on social media at my name is my brand, and it is how I live. I want to live representative of my name, so it has value. So Derek Pearson on every platform. You can follow the radio station at theticketfm.com. Lincoln, Nebraska, 93.7 The Ticket.
Royce.
I'm kind of the same. You can find me under my name on. I'd say if I'm on any social media platform more than any, it's probably Facebook, just personally, and then also through Rice ISD. You know, we have a Facebook account with our athletic program as well, and so either one of those, you can reach me there, and then also you could get in touch with me through my name on Twitter, or also again through Rice ISD on Twitter as well. So those are the two platforms that you probably find me on the most.
Chip, not only where can we find you and follow you, but when is the book signing? When is your next talk? You know, all of this. so they can show up and have a taste of not only Mr. Go Get It, as I call him, but the impact, Chip Baker, Mr. Go Get It, the man with these volumes.
Let's go. No, all of my social media is at Chip Baker TSC, as in the Success Chronicles, except for X. Twitter is at Chip Baker 19. The book will release. We'll have our virtual book launch on April 6th. So 2 weeks coming up. Really excited about that. We're continuing to do, promo to promote it. We're in the process of doing some book tour stuff. So be on the lookout for that. But again, I just ask that, I understand that it's not about me. It's bigger than me. So please take time to go check out these authors, follow them, check them out, because like I said earlier in the interview, you won't be disappointed. They're amazing people doing amazing things.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for jumping on, doing this interview, talking about your chapters. And if you are watching right now, tune in tomorrow at the same time. We're going to have some more of the co-authors on with Chip. So make sure you jump on and check them out to talk about their experience and their part in the Impact of Influence Volume 7. Thank you so much.
Go get it.